Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? Sorry I'm a minute late. Have you guys ever heard of this stuff? It's like, what is it called? Like hydrocolloidal or something? It's not a band-aid. It's like a second skin. And it's what those little dots are made of that the teenagers put on their zits. Ugh, it won't come apart. Trying to get the plastic part off because you know that hangnail that I have on my thumb, it really hurts. It's doing all right, it just hurts. I got it taken care of without making it worse, but it still needs to heal up. So I thought, oh, I'll get some of that colloidal stuff. It is the best. I wouldn't know about it if I didn't have teenagers. And man, if I could have had that when I was a teenager, that would have been the best. See if my thumb will still work with it on. So I want to get right into where I left off yesterday. There's a lot of material to cover. So I'm reading Virginia Giuffre's book, The Nobody's Girl, and I've got some excerpts that are very important for me to share with you today. And then wherever I just set my phone down right here, I wanted to finish up the video from yesterday of Mr. Let Go. And then I just wanted to talk with you in general about a ton of things that I've been doing a lot of research on, trying to stay focused. There's so much bullcrap going on. And I think that that is very intentional on the part of our government administration, totally trying to flood the zone. I'll just touch on a couple of those things real quickly. You know that the military was going to be getting paid with some surprise money that they found like on a shelf or something right next to the tariff shelf. Turns out that the guy who's donating the $130 million, which really doesn't even put a dent in payment to all the military, but of course it turns out that he's got quite an investment in keeping the Epstein files under wraps. Shocking, isn't it? I'm getting the impression that everybody has a huge investment in keeping the Epstein files under wrap, like nationwide. No, I mean globally, not nationwide, globally. It's unreal, the stuff I've been finding out. So there's the 4 shootings in 36 hours, 2 of which have been at Black universities. Maybe you've heard about this. This is like the hot news of the moment. It's very sad. What are the names of the colleges? Well, Howard University and then Lincoln University, which is not too far from Philadelphia. Things keep happening in Pennsylvania. And then the third shooting, like kind of mass shootings, like multiple. The fourth one is a single person at Austin Central Library in Texas. And Texas is one of the states that a lot of this type of weird activity keeps happening at. Robeson County. Does that ring a bell? Raised from perdition. I was like, rendered from perdition, raised from perdition. Hello, hello. I'm in the 10-yard dash to get to work, getting ready. Then I will be driving, so I won't be posting, but I'm listening. Oh, thank you, my dear. That's awesome. Nice to see you, and I hope that you get to work safely. I know that's always annoying when you're like having to hurry at the last minute. That's kind of how I am right before I come on live, and I try not to be like that. But I think we always get like that when we're coming to a deadline. Unless we're just going to be early, and I don't like doing that to you guys early either. I don't like being early and throwing you off that way. So Robeson County, where this other shooting took place in North Carolina, is where a Micah Miller was found. And that just turns out to be one of the most corrupt places in the world. Remember Annabise? You guys remember that? And my tongue hurts so much. Like the tip of it, it feels like there's like a cold sore on it, but I don't think there is. It just feels like that. But that's one reason why it's helpful to just go ahead and play the video. Everything I say is simply my opinion. And how are you, my dear? Anna. My opinion, hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational, made for the tube of you infotainment platform. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And I always want to show off my cool, creepy thumb. Okay, so let's finish up. I think we have about 40 minutes on this video. We might not need to watch the whole thing, but I just wanted to finish it to finish it. Because remember, I was just trying to keep it documented on YouTube so that it doesn't disappear. I got my package. All right, Annabees. I'm so excited. So excited. Congrats. That's great. So now I can burn both of the receipts.
Because most people who are famous are more influential.
And just to recap real quick, right where we left off about how people are worth more deceased than alive to the people around them that are making money off of them if they're famous or what have you.
Dead than alive. This shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. And this is also on my Patreon. And then we're gonna have it. Got it? Okay.
Not working at all.
Just showing you a snippet of what I just found about Joe Biden on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, this is kind of weird.
To see what is going on with Joe Biden.
I don't know what he's alluding to, but I can guess.
Right here on Patreon, don't sign up to my Patreon because I cannot play this video.
I will say this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like some head sniffing stuff or what with Biden.
Want to know what the hell Joe Biden is doing? And this is a whole, 15-minute, this is a 30-minute long video. This video right here is on Patreon. I can't play it here because YouTube will kick me out. So I just want to show y'all that. So I'm still diving into what is going on with, let's play this real quick. His family? There's nothing on her family? No, not her. This is So
nothing on Erica's family.
On Patreon, but we'll talk about this a little bit. There's nothing on his family?
Oh my God, the stuff that I have found about Erica Kirk and the Romanian Angels, it just gets worse and worse and worse. I already linked it up in the description of today's video. I think that's the only thing I've linked up so far. A really long article that I was going to try to read after the video and after the book, and not all of it, but part of it, because it really spells it out.
There's nothing on her family? No, not her. This is AI. I'm talking about Little Miss Sunshine over here that's in mourning.
Little Miss Sunshine. Real quick, I looked up the boulevards named after Charlie Kirk, and I think they're going to be all over the country, especially in Florida. And there's a traffic circle in Israel named after him. So remember, I mean, it was Candace Owens that said that once they name a boulevard after you and a national holiday, then you know they're admitting culpability. I think that sounds about right.
The MAGA cheerleaders think that she's medicated. So I took out my rabbit hole shovel and got a little more digging. Erica Lane Kirk. Husband Charlie Kirk. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing. Charlie's wife, Erica Lane Kirk. Nothing. So this is Erica Kirk's grandparents on the father's side, dead obviously. They hooked up, had Kent, her dad. The grandparents on the mom's side, dead, obviously, as well. They hooked up, had Lori. Kent and Lori hooked up, had Erica. Charlie Kirk's family timeline, nothing, just dead or missed.
Well, of course, they're erasing everything. I think Erica has a sister, and I don't know if she has other siblings, allegedly. I mean, it's so hard to believe anything online. There's all kinds of back and forth, right? Lots of debunking. I looked up some pretty sus debunkers. Looked like CASHAPP Patel to me.
Thing. So this is Carl, her grandfather on the father's side. Blah, 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 right?
Blah, blah, blah.
With knighthood by Sweden's King Carl, blah, 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 blah. Organizations like the Independent Order of Vikings. Like Vikings of Valhalla?
Mm-hmm.
Remember your boy Patel?
To my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest down, brother. We have the watch. And I'll see you in Valhalla.
This Valhalla?
These people are so weird. When I say these people, I'm talking about the administration of the current dear leader.
New Zealand? Valhalla? Does the family roots own property here? Could be nothing but sussy. Must be a riot at these two holiday parties. I mean, they're not taking photos of their kids, or at least not promoting them. Just these two lovebirds, like.
If we were just examining the situation, it certainly looked like Turning Point employees or staff or students thugged him so that he wouldn't say what he thought happened. Let's take a listen.
Thugged him. I've never heard that used as a verb, to thug.
To that clip that has gone viral.
So this shows me that I have more information than Candace Owens. And I know Candace Owens is on vacation.
The link between, yeah, thank you for your comments, you guys. The last one, and man, I can't highlight it, and I'm afraid if I try too hard, I'll mess crap up. Finding the link between this Lyman and Erica is a big thing. And yes, the photograph of him with Erica in Romania. I was going to change the thumbnail to have that in it because I think it's real. I think it's real. You know, people are trying to say, oh, that's not him.
But
I think it is.
I'm taking over for Candace Owens until she gets back. So this shows me right here that Candace Owens may not have all the information yet. Watch this.
I'm standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out.
Hi, it's Mark Barton from Sadie the Promise. Can I please count on your...
And yeah, the link between Erica and Lyman and the Romanian angels and a lot of guilty parties and a lot of the transporting and paralleling it or tying it right in with Nobody's Girl. It's big. It's really big. It's like we know that it's a worldwide system and it's getting busted wide open, whether these freaks like it or not, to use El Presidente's own words against him. Whether you like it or not, man, it's open. The cat's out of the bag.
Remember, we've already proved that this boy is an actor.
I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
Well, let me just say, if the blood was coming out of the left side of the neck, then obviously it was the left, you know, the radical left lunatics that did it, right?
Certainly emotions were running high. He was just trying to speak and to say what he saw. And interestingly, though, if you think through what he said there, he said, I was in the third row, right? And a shot rang out and I looked to my left and I looked to my right. Now, we're not specific on where exactly he was standing, but if a high-powered rifle came from 250 yards behind you, you'd probably look back first, right? Like common sense, if you heard the sound coming from behind you, you would look back, probably even before your brain came online. Your instinct would be to duck and to make sure that you're not going to get hit by something that's coming from behind you. Now, to clarify immediately here and to again debunk some other internet conspiracy theories, that is not Andrew Colvett in that video. A lot of people were like, is this Andrew Colvett from Turning Point USA hiding under a hat? It is not true. I spoke to Andrew on this actual day. He definitively flew in to Utah after the shooting took place. He's not therefore on the ground. But the person that is in that video.
I just made another connection. Like some of these connections I'm joking about, so I'll try to be explicit when I am. Like the one that I just said about the wound being on the left side of the neck, that obviously it's the lunatic leftists that did it. But this one, now I forgot what the other one was. Let me replay that real quick.
As soon as I just put up a picture and I said I'd like to identify this person, his friend first left a nasty comment.
Let me replay that real quick.
That I have more information than Candace Owens. And I know Candace Owens is on vacation, but I'm taking over for Candace Owens until she gets back. So this shows me right here that Candace Owens may not have all the information yet.
I knew what I was going to say. Okay. Turning Point, and then I'll answer your question, Anna. Turning Point USA. I do believe that it was a shell company of sorts, a place to put money in, a place for money to ship money out from. And I think that it tied in with the transporting, and that Charlie was probably oblivious. But turning point and turning out, because that's what you do with the industry when you're transporting humans. It's, it's called turning them out. So how much was Virginia's physical book? It was about, I got it at Barnes and Noble, so it says $3 off up in the corner. I want to say it was like $32 when you added the tax, but I'm not sure. I didn't look at the receipt, and I paid for it with a debit card. So yeah, turning point, turning out. It could be a coincidence, but I don't think anything is in these situations. I also want to say, talking about Georgia and the Uncaged, the company that Kim Westphal started for people being turned out from Russia. And then she had an operation in Russia and an operation in Georgia, USA, not the other Georgia. That Jägermeister could have been involved with selling his girlfriend, because more often than not, that's how it works. Sad to say. But it just kind of dawned on me too while reading Virginia's book, because she talks about boyfriends that she had while she was being turned out by Jeff and Jiz. And yeah, money talks. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but people do what they got to do, right? Or what they think they got to do.
I'm standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out.
So right now, remember, we've already proved that this boy is an actor.
I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck, down his shirt, and he...
Where did Zanime say she was from, Anna Bees? Good comment. I wonder if Zanime is actually from Russia. She was Ukrainian. She was Ukrainian, right? Wasn't she from Ukraine? Isn't that what she said? Holy crap, man.
Slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me! Emotions are running high right now.
Certainly emotions were running high. He was trying to speak and to say what he saw. And interestingly, though, if you think through what he said there, he said, I was in the third row, right? And a shot rang out, and I looked to my left and I looked to my right. Now, we're not specific on where exactly he was.
It's weird, though, that he says I was the third row down. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of odd phrasing. But yeah, Ukraine. And it's all about those Eastern European nations. That's where, you know, there's a lot of poverty and devastation and desperation, and then modeling or transporting.
Standing, but if a shot, a high.
Oh, and also because they're white, and a lot of these billionaires just so happen to be white supremacists, so they don't want anybody but a white person. And
powered rifle came from 250 yards behind you, you'd probably look back first, right? Like common sense, if you heard the sound coming from behind you, you would look back, probably even before your brain came online. Your instinct would be to duck and to make sure that you're not going to get hit by something that's coming from behind you. Now, to clarify immediately here and to again debunk some other internet conspiracy theories, that is not Andrew Colbert in that video. A lot of people were like, is this Andrew Colbert from Turning Point USA hiding under a hat? It is not true. I spoke to Andrew on this actual day. He definitively flew in to Utah after the shooting took place. He's not therefore on the ground. But the person that is in that video, as soon as I just put up a picture and I said, I'd like to identify this person, his friend first left a nasty comment, like, why are you trying to look out for this guy? He did the right thing. How dare we ask questions?
See, right there, you can see that she doesn't know that that boy was an actor.
well, and when something's on the internet, it's a free for all. It's public.
It's a possibility that they told him to shut up because they're tired of him running around saying the same thing over and over again to different people.
Dare we try to get testimony from anybody else that day? Kind of then messages me privately because I reached out and I'm like, I'm just trying to confirm the story. And I reached out and he says to me, well, and I'm paraphrasing here, he doesn't want to speak to you. He doesn't want to speak to media because he's been instructed not to speak to media because he's gotten the Turning Point chapter into trouble before for speaking out in the media, and he just doesn't want to do that. And I said, that seems very strange to me. What are you saying to me? You have a TPUSA person who can't speak.
And yeah, so he's done this before. It is strange. I think this is an ad.
Are you looking for the most affordable way?
Yes, it's an ad. Skip.
There were tons of people that were talking about their testimonies. It's very odd. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, you're telling me that Turning Point USA sent around a text and said nobody speak to the media? That was his excuse, by the way, for why he shut that guy up. People were saying, oh, you know, they're not allowed to speak to the media. So they were just doing what they were told. Well, then it's kind of interesting. You should know that I then determined that the person doing the shoving is first and foremost not a Turning Point USA employee. He is beyond that not a student at UVU. He is not a Turning Point USA student, therefore, either. He was actually brought in as a volunteer, which I found to be quite strange.
Some type of agent, maybe. I don't know, like a chaos agent, right?
He was an actor.
An actor.
That is a point. She doesn't know. He was brought in as a volunteer because he is an actor.
Look, I've done a lot of campus stops, and typically it's the chapter of that school that does everything. It's the chapter that handles everything. Now, bigger events, they certainly work with other organizations, and it's possible, I guess.
And look at the girl's shirt. You don't understand.
I saw
it's the same boy here.
Her shirt
on screen?
has Phil Lyman for governor on it.
Did I change it?
It's a Phil Lyman shirt.
On screen. Put a one in chat, y'all can see my screen. I just want to make sure. Then 1, 2, 3, action.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. He collapsed in his seat. He fell over to the side. He was carried.
So this is the guy that Candace is saying, I don't know where he came from. He's just some volunteer that took over whatever. Well, I'm here to prove right here that he is an actor. And he was hired most likely by Lyman. So, Phil Lyman, you have a lot of things to explain.
He had blood on his arms, he had blood on his shirt, he was dragged off and carried out of the venue. There was a gunshot that rang out. I saw somebody get shot today. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. He collapsed in his seat. He fell over to the side. He was carried off. He had blood on his arms. He had blood on his shirt. He was dragged off and carried out of the venue. There was a gunshot that rang out.
You okay?
I'm not okay. I saw someone get shot today.
Yeah, question.
Did you guys see what happened?
Yes, I saw him. Are you recording?
Same boy right here. Same boy right here. He walked from outside to inside and gave the same damn speech. So this is what Candace Owens is saying, and this is what Candace Owens is confused about. But guess what? We got him, and we figured this shit out. Shout out to not just me, because this is not me. This is the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine team. Y'all figure this shit out with me. Is this the same boy?
Yes, you're live right now. Well, we're recording. I don't know if we're live because of the cell service.
So,
hang on.
I'm standing in probably the third. Okay, I'm standing from probably the third row on the bottom. I saw hit. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over.
Just real quick, I'm looking at my notes. Tim Mellon, I think, is the man who is volunteering the $130 million to pay military salaries so that so Mike Johnson doesn't have to reopen the government so that they can keep a cork on the Trumpstein files. I think it's Tim Mellon. Just wanted to put that name to the thought that I shared earlier.
Had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me!
See, all that was an act. All of that was an act, Candace. All of it was an act.
It's odd that a volunteer would have the courage to shut down a kid that's speaking in that way, in that aggressive manner. I would imagine Turning Point would tell their volunteers not to get physical with students on campus. What do I know? I just have common sense. Now, how do I know that he is not a Turning Point USA employee and he is not a UVU or Turning Point USA student? Well, because despite him stopping a college kid from speaking about what he heard, that young man, whose name is Cooper, and I'm very comfortable telling you this because, well, he went on Fox News that very night to provide eyewitness testimony to exactly what he heard and what he saw, because apparently he was the person that was holding the mic when the shot rang out.
Another ad, I apologize.
They don't believe how contaminated.
I should put that on my wish list. I should make a wish list. Somebody who wants to pay for me to not have ads, but I'm on my own right now.
Let me read the super chats. Didn't he blame the golf girls first? Also, that same interview, the boy has a 30-minute clip before the pow happened. It's got a quick little selfie vid of the boy. Okay, Charlie and the Meta Glasses man. Can you DM that to me, Eye of the Taurus? I would love to see that. Eye of the Taurus comes back and says, same boy that pushed him also is in the video talking about. Send it to me, Eye of the Taurus. I would love to see that because you need to be in my mystery team. You got the details.
The mystery team.
DM me Ida Taurus, and I'll look at it. Let me see if anybody in the Scooby-Doo team is saying anything.
The Scooby-Doo team. Cute.
Let's see.
Zoinks.
I'm sorry, really can't. It's a corner of the police. Hold on, y'all. I'm reading something. TPUSA halftime show has nothing to do with Bad Bunny. It's a revival or alternate show broadcast. Oh, okay. So Bad Bunny has nothing to do with TPUSA. Okay, gotcha.
Good point, Anna Bees. All this is so crazy, just like Idaho 4 and Kylie. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's because it's a bunch of lies. I think Kylie was a bunch of lies. Idaho 4 was a bunch of lies. This is a pack of lies.
Okay. Thank y'all. Can someone let the man know that it doesn't say 5:30? What says 5:30? Y'all talking about me? Y'all talking about someone else? They had a group chat talking, so I'm just trying to be nosy. Okay.
Take a listen to what he told Jesse Waters on the night of.
Cooper Brown was an event volunteer who was just feet away from Charlie when he got shot.
Okay, a couple of things. Jesse Waters is the worst. Second thing, Cooper Brown, to me, that sounds like a stage name. That doesn't sound like a real name. That's just my opinion.
Cooper, what happened? Yeah, so this requires a little bit of background knowledge, but so I work for an organization called Leadership Institute, and what we do is we work hand in hand with all the different conservative coalition groups on college campuses. So the Young Americans for Liberty, the Students for Life, and the Turning Point USA's. And so at Utah Valley, we had been really, really excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk this semester. And we had spent weeks and weeks and weeks getting volunteers, advertising for this event, and just so excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk at this university. And then unfortunately it had to end in absolute tragedy.
So I'm trying to get in touch with this.
It is an absolute tragedy. It's actually an absolute tragedy, which is why I'm so suspicious of Phil Lyman, who's pretending like he's good friends with Charlie. And it looks like he knew Charlie's wife years before she ever met Charlie. And he's not emotional. He's just very matter of fact. There's no like crying or shaking or like, what if? I mean, you do all kinds of bargaining when you're in some type of crisis incident like that. You're like, well, what if I had moved to the left? What if I didn't do this? What if he had just done that, And it's just very confusing. People are usually not real organized in their ability to speak in their train of thought when they're in a life-threatening situation or witnessing something like that.
Once I realized that not only did he speak the night of, he also spoke on Fox News the very next day, which would mean what? Did Turning Point USA, I don't know the answer to this, I'm asking genuinely, did they say speak to this person who's not actually a TPUSA student, but he was there? I don't know how this works. But the next day, sure enough, he appeared on Fox News again. And I'm not sure if we had that clip, Skylar, but if we do, let's roll it.
That day, we had 30 or so student volunteers that were designated roles that were going to be helping pass out Turning Point USA merchandise and getting people signed up for the event. And my responsibility was, when the event actually started, to help manage just the microphone. So something simple as just raising it and lowering it, making sure students were able to speak into it clearly. And I thought this was a fantastic opportunity to be up really, really close, to be able to witness all the amazing.
The whole Turning Point event and structure, to me, it's just like a machine. Charlie's just a part of the machine. And And the machine is irrelevant about Charlie being safe, deceased, alive, not alive, unalive.
What's going to be happening on campus?
A couple of things about Cooper Brown that to me is a bit of a mystery at this moment. First and foremost, you provide witness testimony. You start doing the rounds on Fox News. You are fair game, okay? I'm going to start asking questions because I need to know everything. Everything's got to fit neatly into my timeline. So in trying to reach out to him and in publicly posting, hey, I'm trying to identify this individual, I received a ton of emails. One email said, hey, I'm actually his cousin, and here is his number. Now, I noticed that cousin happens to...
See, but it's kind of weird that she's putting all this on YouTube. Like, yeah, as his friend, you could imagine her doing all of this, but then maybe going to law enforcement. But I guess if she's suspicious of law enforcement, she's suspicious of the government being involved.
Live in Phoenix, Arizona, so I went and just checked.
Half of the people live in Phoenix, Arizona, and the other half of the people live in Utah. These two cities are, it's something strange.
Utah,
some profiles on social
Moab.
media found some Browns, but they were all living in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, maybe this person's from Phoenix, Arizona. Well, actually, when I went through what he has as...
It's a pretty common last name. I mean, come on, Brown.
His resume on this website where he says that he works with this institute, I couldn't fact check any of the things. Went to school, a very small college in New Hampshire. I'm from the Northeast. If you're going to school in New Hampshire, especially not the University of New Hampshire, you can go ahead and bet that you're going to be a local. So I'm looking for a kid that's from New Hampshire to go to this tiny school. I found somebody.
For fuck's sake, if I see one more TikTok creator...
That's an annoying ad. They're not supposed to talk like that. Ridiculous. Gross.
His name, but it was actually a girl that had that name and graduated in the year that he says that he graduated in. He doesn't look to me like he just graduated college, but according to his...
So maybe he's trans. I mean, I don't know.
Resume, he did. And the number that she gives me, which is the first thing that registers to me as odd, is it's a Utah. It's a Phoenix-based number. So I'm going, who is this person?
And I just want to let...
Cooper is a very unique name for a first name for a female. I mean, it's unique for a male, but for a female, I don't know about that.
Y'all know I am listening to y'all. You see, my picture is smaller than the other picture, so I'm listening to y'all. So to the people who made my comments saying, can you make your picture smaller than the other? That's what I'm doing now. So I just want y'all to know I am listening to y'all.
And why is it linking that number to somebody else who's 32 years old and has that same last name? I don't know. I intend to get those answers, but there's something here that strikes me as a little bit odd, especially given the fact that as a volunteer, as he expresses there, they decided to allow him to hold the microphone. That's supposed to be like kind of an honor at Utah events. Turning Point USA kids work really hard to put these events on. They decided he's going to hold the microphone. They went with a volunteer.
So
that is a big
I
job.
would say, unofficially, the prime suspect is now Phil Lineman.
Yep.
Why is he all in the middle of all this stuff? Did he help arrange this UVU event?
So if Turning Point was a shell company basically for a lot of funds to go into, like $150 million from Israel, allegedly. And then for a lot of funds to be going out of. And it doesn't sound like Charlie knew where the money was coming from and where the money was going. In the event that that did have to do with the transporting type of stuff, then it kind of all makes sense, right? And going back to Erica and her Romanian Angels thing when she was a teenager, and the military and her parents and Phil Lyman, going back over 10 years. The photograph of them in Romania with a bunch of Romanian miners. So it's Erica Kirk and Phil Lyman and another guy. We'll get to that stuff after this and after Virginia's book. We're almost done with this.
Did he, in some type of roundabout way, unofficially, of course, because I don't want to get sued, have anything to do with Tyler Robinson being the fall guy or the decoy on the roof? Because he was up on the roof with the decoy. So what were they up there doing? And on top of that, why is he just running around coming up with all these different stories? Why is he lying? Is he doing all this for attention? Is he trying to make Utah?
Well, like the guy, the old man who said, I did it. You know that not only did he drop his pants when he yelled, I did it, but then he immediately confessed to having child PORN on his phone, so that they were totally occupied with dealing with him. He dropped his freaking pants and yells, I did it. So they're like, oh, we got the guy, the crazy old guy who dropped his pants and has the inappropriate pictures of kids on his phone that he immediately confessed to. So yeah, Anna B says, I did not put that apostrophe, damn it, spell check. And the comment was, I kind of like this version of Candace Owens with an apostrophe S, but we all know Owens is her last name. So yeah, that is annoying. Spell check.
Is this about Utah and not Charlie Kirk, where he's trying to become, the next governor?
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to prove that Governor Cox, who is the present governor of Utah, is doing a bad.
Are there times when you would love to have another address or phone number to use instead of...
And you got to remember, Utah is where obviously Salt Lake City is, and in Salt Lake City is all of the records of everybody ever born in the United States of America, right? So who might be wanting that information? Not just our country.
Is this all about him trying to get an opportunity to be governor of Utah?
Oh, and I just got to add this because it's really gross. And all about eugenics, so that you can follow these people's bloodlines. It's all about the eugenics, you guys. And so is the transporting, because it's tying in with the whole Handmaid's Tale thing and forcing females to carry babies and then give them up, just like in the Handmaid's Tale.
I don't know. But all I know is a man is dead, and
unalive.
We still don't know why and still don't know how. But we're this close. So we almost got...
I think two things. They needed him silent, but they also needed the distraction. So it served probably more than two purposes, but those two.
Phil Lyman.
The most.
And we still got to keep working. We got a lot of work to do. So I wanted to come on here and show y'all this breaking news. Make sure to hit up my Patreon. The link is in the chat. Hit up my Patreon. The link is in the chat. And make sure to buy my card games if you have not. So that's all I got for now. Y'all like the video? Y'all like this song? So I'm gonna play a commercial, and then I'm gonna play my card game song.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off because there's still like 20 minutes left, but it is him doing what he just said, and he's talking about the cards and what they're for. So it's interesting if you want to watch the last 20 minutes, but I just have so much stuff I want to cover in this video, and I don't want it to be as long as yesterday's was. So Virginia was pregnant at one point, and also she lost the baby. She wasn't really told what was going on. Also, Jiz and Little E asked her specifically one day if she would carry their baby. And she said she needed to think about it. And this is right before she goes to Thailand and escapes, so she thinks. Saying that she needed to think about it, I think, was the wrong answer. Like, she, even when she's writing the book, it doesn't seem to me that she realized that probably made them extremely concerned. It is so sad, Anna Bees, but at least she was able to have her own kids. But yeah, I think that the marriage, the domestic violence, the allegations of domestic violence, the allegation of self-induced taking her own life, that if Robert Giuffre was a perpetrator of DV, which it's on record that he was, but I'm just keeping an open mind that could be some kind of fabrication, because I think whether he's an actual extension of Little E and Jiz or not, that in an overwhelming sense, he is an extension of them. Whether they knew each other, whether that was a coordinated effort. And I think it very well might have been. But again, Virginia lost her life while trying to escape from the marriage, which, if he's an extension of Jiz and Little E, yeah, you're going to lose your life if you try to escape from your pimp. There, I just said it. So let me get to this page where there's a few pages I wanted to read to you first, starting with 137. And I wanted to read the whole page. So this is about Little E telling her that he marries off his conquests. That could be her, could be Smalania, but he tells her straight up that that's what he does. He marries off his conquests. What was that? That was weird. Something fell. It's called A Bridge Too Far. Oh, this is so sad. I'm just going to start with that. A Bridge Too Far. I think this is where I left off with you guys yesterday, maybe, but maybe not. Little E once told me that every girl he'd had X with had benefited in one of three ways. No, actually, it was the beginning of the last chapter was where I left off yesterday. Benefited in one of three ways. Either he gave them money to better their lives, or he helped them jumpstart their career, or he married them off to one of his successful friends. All the girls in Little E's household knew, for example, that in 1994, a former girlfriend of Little E's, a woman in her 20s, married another man in his circle. Several of us met this man. More than once, Little E had brought up his girlfriend's marriage to this man as proof of his, I don't even know this word. Are you guys familiar? Largesse, Largesse. I'll look it up later. I'm surprised I didn't catch that. As if he'd arranged it. Proof of his like mad skills, I guess. His power, maybe. He told me he'd be willing to do the same sort of matchmaking for me. When he said this, he clearly believed that what he was offering me was a life changing gift. He clung to the idea that at his core, he was a generous benefactor. Meanwhile, he also fantasized about improving the human race by fathering children who carried his superior genes. Sometimes he'd talk about his plans to use his Zorro Ranch as a literal breeding ground to propagate babies. Who would birth these imagined offspring? The girls he kept in his orbit, of course, and he thought we'd see it as an honor. Just to give you a glimpse. And then I wanted to probably skip a few pages. I'll just read a little bit of the next paragraph. Maxwell was a different animal. Selfish, certainly, but more fragile than little E, especially after she turned 40 on Christmas Day, 2001. The insecurities that lured under the surface of her outgoing persona emerged. A blazing beauty when she was young, Maxwell was still attractive, but her short haircut, while provocatively stylish for a woman of 20 or so, looked a bit haggard on someone twice that age. Increasingly, it was as if Jiz was trying too hard. While she still prided herself on being the matron of Little E's house, she seemed to chafe more and more at being seen as maternal. So that's 138. I'm going to skip to 140 because I wanted to read straight through 140 to 144. And then that's all the reading that I will do out of the book for the day. And then there are a few more things to talk about. Let's see. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse for me, they did. Little E trafficked me to a man who raped me more savagely than anyone had before. We were on his island when I was ordered to take this man to a cabana. Immediately, it was clear to me that this man, whom I'd taken pains to describe in legal filings only as a well-known prime minister, and I'm quite certain, in my opinion, that BB is one of the people and that Daddy Vladdy is one of the people. Although I don't think that this is referring to either of them. I think this is referring to BB's predecessor. A well-known prime minister wasn't interested in caresses. He wanted violence. He repeatedly choked me until I lost consciousness and took pleasure in seeing me fear for my life. Horrifically, the prime minister laughed when he hurt me and got more aroused when I begged him to stop. I emerged from the cabana. Oh, and I didn't say trigger warning. I apologize. So yeah, turn it off right here if you don't want to be triggered. This is gross. And you might have heard it already on some of the other channels. I emerged from the cabana, bleeding from my mouth, the JJ and the A, the behind. For days it hurt to breathe and to swallow. Afterward, I tearfully begged Little E not to send me back to the prime minister. I got down on my knees and pleaded with him. I don't know if Little E feared the man or if he owed him a favor, but he wouldn't make any promises, saying coldly of the politician's brutality, "You'll get that sometimes." And it could be that he was punishing her because he could tell that she was getting sick of all of this. I mean, he's a very intuitive person. He can read people. And it was obvious she was getting really, that she was at the end of her rope with the abuse. Plus, she was just about 19, so she's aging out. And so they're thinking, what are they going to do with her? Are they going to marry her off? Are they going to keep her as a receptionist? Are they going to put her at the bottom of a river on a golf course, 6 feet under on a golf course? Today, I know that Epstein liked to tell friends that women were merely, oh, this is so gross, a life support system for a vajayjay. I didn't know that then. Today I know that little E made the following chilling distinction. I'm not a predator, I'm an offender. It's the difference between a red rummer and a person who steals a bagel. I didn't know that then either. Today, I see how little he cared about the girls and women he abused. But for a long time, I couldn't see it. Or maybe I didn't want to see it. My experience being brutalized by the prime minister and the way little E glossed over it changed that for me. Before the prime minister's attack, little E had me fooled. I thought that little E's predilection for childlike girls was a sickness, but that in his twisted way, he meant well. After the attack, I couldn't stay a fool. Having been treated so brutally and then seeing little E's callous reaction to how terrorized I felt, I had to accept that little E meted out praise merely as a manipulation to keep me subservient. Little E cared only about little E. At that point, I hit bottom. I now know I couldn't survive. I see only two possible options. Either someone little E trafficked me to would unalive me, or I would take my own life. About 8 weeks or so after my encounter with the prime minister, little E informed me, as he often did, that he wanted me to service an important friend on one of his jets. This is dreadful. Remember, in the sky, there's no jurisdiction. I mean, it's bad when you're on an island and you don't have your passport or phone, but it's even worse when you're in the sky. Little E told me what time to be at the private airport in Palm Beach and said I'd only be up in the air for an hour. Taking him at his word, I got Tony, that's her boyfriend, and some friends to drive me there. And she lived with Tony, or he lived with her. They had a nice apartment, but at what cost? And Tony knew what was going on. And so he cheated on her to, level the playing field. Then asked me to stay and wait until I returned. Tony and some friends, I asked them to drive me there, then asked them to stay and wait until I returned. I had no idea who I was meeting that day as I climbed the stairs that led to the plane. Then I ducked my head and stepped inside. Hello again, the prime minister, the man I feared more than any other, said. The blood rushed in my head and I could barely breathe. Will he unalive me this time, I wondered, and for a dizzy moment, I thought I might faint. The pilot discreetly closed the door to the cockpit and we took off. For the next hour, I was on high alert, braced for a fatal blow. As it turned out, the second encounter with the prime minister was more typical of those I've had with other men. His only goal was ejaculation. Still, it was the longest 60 minutes of my life as I anticipated the prime minister once again injuring and asphyxiating me. When the airplane touched down, I emerged in a daze, stumbling back to the car where Tony and his friends were waiting. I didn't know it then, but my second interaction with the prime minister was the beginning of the end for me. My behavior began to change. I'd bump into a beautiful young stranger in my favorite bookstore, realize she'd be perfect for little E, and then intentionally leave without getting her number. A new sense of agency was taking hold inside me. Well, I couldn't yet save myself. At least I could spare one girl at a time. Then sometime in the summer of 2002, Max, Jizz, and little E pushed me past my breaking point. This is where they propose the thing I was just talking about, like her being a handmaid for them. The three of us had spent an afternoon snorkeling in the shallow reefs around E's Island. As we dried off on the deck, I noticed little E share a glance with Jiz far away. Wait. No, I think I skipped a page. Before he sat down next to me, he put his hand on my neck, a fond gesture that was rare for him. I hope you know how much I appreciate you for embracing my lifestyle, he began as Jiz cozied up next to me too. Over the past several months, you've shown me a devotion that is difficult to find. The friends I've introduced you to agree. See, he's done having her as a toy, so he's ready just to use her as a breeder and then be done with her. And yeah, if she had agreed, it probably wouldn't have been just one child, right? As many as possible. The friends I've introduced you to agree you are a delightful young woman. He took a breath and I wondered where all this was going. Then he came out with it. Jenna, that's what they called her, Virginia, Jenna. I want you to have our baby. Though I'd heard him talk hypothetically about seeding the human race with his DNA, his proposal shocked me. I remember trying not to flinch as Maxwell joined in with the financial particulars. She said, you'd have round-the-clock nannies to help you, her voice oddly chipper. Jeffrey would buy you a mansion in Palm Beach or New York, your choice. And you would have a hefty allowance. If memory serves, she floated the astronomical figure of $200,000 a month. But then came the conditions. Like a modern-day handmaid, I would have to sign over to Epstein and Maxwell all the legal rights of the child. I would have to travel with the child wherever and whenever Epstein wanted, and I would have to attest in writing that Epstein and I were not a couple. I think that's written wrong. I think that it was meant to be I would attest in writing that they were a couple, but I might be wrong. And that the baby would remain with him if we ever had a quote-unquote falling out. So yeah, they did make that mistake. That's how Maxwell put it. As if it were conceivable that the end of little E and my relationship might ever be mutually agreed upon parting. Be a mutually agreed upon parting. That was laughable to me. Everybody knew that little E was the one who ended his relationships with young girls, never the other way around. So it's unlikely that she was the one who ended it. She's saying it right here. I don't know that she ever really realized it, if that was the case. Up to that point, the idea of having kids had been a distant dream. I still felt like a child myself sometimes, so it was hard to imagine being a mom. Given what that doctor had told me the year before when she lost a baby, I wasn't even sure I could get pregnant again, let alone carry a baby to term. But still, everything about Epstein and Jiz's brazen request felt wrong. There was no way I wanted to bring a child into the world for them to raise. One sec, let me let the puppy in. Come on in, babies. Come on, Coco Mookie. Come on. Okay, you can stay out. In or out? Come on. In or out? Come on. Okay. 2 in, 1 out. They like to take breaks from each other. Yeah, poor Virginia. It is so sad. Where was I? At the top of 143. What if the baby were female? Was the plan for little E and Jiz to have me bring that little girl up until she reached puberty and then hand her over to them to abuse? I want no part of it. Little E and Jiz had made so many demands that I had met, ignoring my own feelings in the hope of pleasing them. But this proposal would endanger another person, a helpless child. It was a bridge too far. Today, I'm sad that I found it easier to stand up for an as yet to be conceived baby than for myself. That is pretty insightful, huh? With perfect clarity, I simply knew that I couldn't agree to their proposal. That said, I also knew I couldn't just tell Little E and Jiz no. That was too dangerous. But see, I think the way she played her hand was too revealing. So, for the first time in more than 2 years, because she'd been with them for more than 2 years, and this is the tail end of it, I began actively seeking a way to escape, buying time by pretending to think over their offer. After a few days, I came up with at least part of a plan. But like I said, see, that already put her in harm's way, that she was thinking about it. They're just like, no, you're not allowed to think. You're not allowed to consider saying no, right? In my opinion. I told the two of them that yes, I'd have their baby, but first I hoped they would deliver on the promise they'd dangled in front of me since the first day we met. At long last, would they help me get formally trained as a massage therapist? I politely asked them to consider it. It was just before my 19th birthday when I got my answer. We were on Little E's island again, and Little E gestured for me to sit on his lap. First of all, happy birthday, he said, his face close to mine. We know how hard you've worked, and we agree you deserve something special. So we are sending you to Thailand. I must have looked confused. I'd assumed if Little E agreed to get me trained, it would happen somewhere closer to home. But Little E said that Jiz had found a school in Chiang Mai. I think that's how you say it, Chiang Mai, in the northern part of the country, where I could get certified in Thai massage in just 8 weeks. I started to thank him, but he wasn't finished. Just one thing. He said, while you're in Chiang Mai, I will need you to get to know a particular girl. He told me her name. It sounded Thai to me, and said if I thought she met his criteria, he would have her flown to the U.S. So even when I'm far away, I'll still be recruiting, I asked myself silently. At the time, though, I realized that it might be my only chance for an exit, and I'd be crazy not to seize it. So I smiled and gave him a warm hug. It was important to make Little E and Jiz believe I was on their side. Over the next few weeks, Jiz arranged for me to attend the International Training Massage School, which had a reputation as one of the best centers for the study of Northern-style Thai massage. She bought me a coach ticket and reserved me a room at the Dusit Royal Princess, a 4-star hotel. Little E paid the bill in advance. I was sent home to Florida to pack and say my goodbyes. By this point, Tony and I had moved in with his parents, so I spent most of my time there trying to decide what to put in storage and what I should try to carry with me. While I didn't know what the future held, I sensed that I should take with me anything I couldn't live without. I also visited my parents, and my brother Danny and his new wife, Lynette, came to see me off. I remember I took Skydie, then 14, her little brother, aside and told him I'd always be there for him. For those days, I pretended I was a normal girl preparing for an exotic vacation, not a prisoner plotting her escape. In mid-September of 2002, Little E and Jiz arranged for me to return to New York. I'd continue on to Thailand solo from there. On the morning my commercial flight was leaving Miami for New York City. I said one last goodbye to my dog, Mary Jane. And then Tony and I looked at many suitcases loaded. Then Tony and I loaded my many suitcases into my Dodge truck. I'd never been a light packer, but this time I was even heavier than usual. My luggage held every memento and photo that was important to me. We wrestled the many bags out of the truck, which I was letting Tony use in my absence, and he helped me haul everything to the ticket counter. Luggage finally checked. We headed for the security. That's when I broke down weeping. Tony was mystified. Hadn't I been away for several weeks before? What was making me so emotional? I couldn't explain it, even to myself, but I had an inkling that I wouldn't be coming back. I hugged Tony tighter than I ever had that day and told him how much I'd miss him. Take care of the pup, I said, as I always did before I was jetting off somewhere with little E. Tony said he would, and I gave him one last kiss and then walked away. Should I read a little bit more? Maybe I'll just stop there. It's probably a good stopping point. Oh, it's so sad, isn't it? So very, very sad. And so I think I'm about halfway done, almost halfway done with the book. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to keep my bookmark where I want it, but then marking right there too. Okay. And then let me just throw it on the ground. See, I have this desk and then I have all this stuff on it. So then I don't have anywhere to set crap down. I gotta fix that. So Matt Groening was one of the people named in her book that I did not want to see. You know, Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons. I'm on live. One of my mods, she should know that I'm on live. Not to be mean, but it's funny when she calls me when I'm on live. That's fine. I mean, it's not her job to take care of me. Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and I have all you guys, right? I got Anna B's. She had to give him a foot massage, and he did draw her a couple of doodles. He's a doodler. He made her some drawings, and he signed them, just like Donnie with his birthday doodle drawing that he signed, that he says he doesn't draw. And if he did draw, it wouldn't be a woman. It would be a building, because that's what he is, and that's what he does. He's a builder. Anyway, so Matt Groening was on Lolita Express with her. It doesn't say that anything lurid happened, but I was still devastated that his name was in there. Because, I went to the same college he went to. I didn't realize he was a lot older than me, though. He's a lot older than me, like 13 years or more. I think he's 71, but which would just be 13. But he was enrolled at Evergreen State College up until the time that I enrolled. So I always figured he was close to my age, but he was an older student that then dropped out because he got the contract of Life in Hell. Well, he had his cartoon, his black and white cartoon of Life in Hell with Matt Groening, that then Tracy Ullman hired him to do a little cartoon in her sitcom, 2 minutes, and that was where The Simpsons started. And then shortly thereafter, that was 1987 when he moved from Olympia, Washington to LA for that contract. And then I want to say it was 1990 was the year that he got The Simpsons to be a half-hour show. And it's been the most successful half-hour show ever since. It's outlived MASH. So yeah, it's devastated to see Matt Groening on Lolita Express. And I think he went to Epstein Island, but all that she knows that happened was with her, that she gave him a foot rub and that his feet were gross. What else? I think I should probably wind down. It's already an hour and 15 minutes. And yeah, no one gets away from little E alive. And when they sent her to the school in Thailand, that's the part of the book that I'm in right now. And like, I just got to the part where she first meets Robbie through other people, but it's sounding to me very, very probable that it was a setup. I don't think that Jiz and little E would let her get away. And I never understood that when people would say that they thought that her husband was her handler. And especially because they were married for 24 years. They did have 3 kids. You know, and it sounds like she might not have even known, but maybe she did know. Maybe she didn't want to admit it to herself. Maybe she didn't want to admit it out loud. Or maybe she thought she was just being paranoid, right? I mean, when you have gaslighters like that, and then you're afraid that if you say anything, that then you're going to seem really crazy, right? So let's see what else I have in here before wrapping up. Oh, I was going to look at that article that I put in the description. And I think I'll end with that. Let me pull it up on my phone. So you guys can look at the article and we can talk about it more on the next video, hopefully tomorrow.
Because y'all said y'all like my card.
Let's see. I'm trying to go to the live that we're in right now to get to that article that's linked up there. Thank you for your patience. Here's the link. And so the title of the article, this is Silview Media, Silview. The title is really interesting. Moab, Charlie Kirk's wife, U.S. Army, and vetted pedophiles in Romanian orphanages. Philanthropy that reeks of child trafficking. This was written 9 days after the shooting. And I'll just read part of it to you and then wrap up since I didn't want to go past an hour and a half. Oh, is DYI Drea here? Love these weekend lives. I'm late as usual. Love listening, working on my DIY projects. Today I'm painting the front stoop. Oh, nice. And so I don't know if you knew that I threw you a wrench at the end of yesterday's live. I don't know if you were listening or if you, if you're not okay with it, just let me know and I'll take your wrench away. But if you don't mind, yeah, because I think it was raised from tradition 2 times that was the one saying that she wasn't sure that she knew how to be a mod. And it's no sweat if it's something that you're not interested in. Sadly, Jazz, I agree with you that Virginia's husband was her handler. Yeah, the chances of them letting her escape is like slim to nil. And they knew that she was at the end of her rope when she waited so long before. Not only did she wait a long time before saying, okay, I'll have your baby, but then she had conditions on it. Like she wasn't supposed to put herself first. Like that's where she screwed up. Like they knew she was done, in my opinion. So this is the beginning of this article. Having lived my first 31 years in Romania, half of these in communism, the other half as a system mass mediat. I've been through some nasty traumas and deprivations, but I also acquired knowledge and skills that most Westerners can't fathom. Among these, a deep and based, I'm thinking this is AI. Among these, a deep and based skepticism towards philanthropists specializing in orphanages, who often live the country with, yeah, this is definitely AI, or just maybe trouble with second language, who often live the country with some kids under their arms. That's supposed to be leave the country. We've had them come in waves in the 1990s, which resulted in tens of thousands of children that couldn't be traced a few years later. And I want to reiterate, full disclosure, that I have a couple of nieces who were adopted from Romania right around the year 2000. They were like 4 years old and 5 years old when my brother and sister-in-law got custody of them. And they're still part of the family. They're in their probably early 30s now. I'd have to do math, which I can't do when I'm on live. Erica Kirk looks exactly like one of them. So this article has everything in it if you're curious. Everyone applauded her for her strength and bravery when she gave a speech just 3 days after the death of her husband, Charlie Kirk. Erica Kirk also had the courage to take over all of his businesses, becoming CEO of Turning Point, his company. Remember the times when everyone thought Jizz was pimped by Little E, Little T's party buddy, only to find out later that Jizz ran the show? Erica Kirk Factology. From her official website, we learned that she is the founder of 2 interesting organizations. And this is where the picture is that I'm going to add to the thumbnail later. The picture of her with what looks like Phil Lyman and a bunch of these Romanian orphans. So if you want to see it, you can tap on the link that's in the description of this video, which is what I'm reading from right now. The second truly intriguing organization is Romanian Angels, involved in helping orphans and orphanages in Romania. So that's interesting that it's helping the orphanages. So it's not just like one orphanage, it's a blanket for all of them. That's even more suspicious. Run by a teenager. Sorry. I mean, she's just a prop. Come on. You won't find any official website or official information about them anywhere. But skills and persistence pay off eventually. I guess most people are already in the know that Erica Franz is Erica Kirk's maiden name. And then that weird ass image of the angel wings that to me look a lot more like horns, like bull horns, like ram horns, and also trigger warning, a woman's legs spread eagle. Like that's not angel wings. Give me an effing break. I mean, it's like a Rorschach, and in the wings, in the black, is really like a Rorschach, and that's like a couple of demons in there, right? It seriously is. I'm not even kidding. Okay. Okay, here's the picture of her and what looks like Phil Lyman and 2 other guys. And I think I know who the 2 other guys are. So the picture, the whole picture is this group of about 20 of them under like an awning outside of an orphanage, and then she is in the back row right there. Let's see, stupid thing, they circled her face, but it's not going to cooperate with me. Okay, so a couple of these other people are probably Lloyd Sparks and Otto Buscher. Otto Buscher is the one that was arrested. But let me get back into here. Where was I? Did I skip over anything? Our mission is to promote and propagate. Oh, that's a weird word. Propagate the everyday heroes in our communities. Propagate sounds to me like fertility stuff. That have a philanthropic desire to truly make a difference in the lives of others. In the past 2 years, we have gone global with our Romanian Angels project and teamed up with the United States Marine Corps. I'm just like stunned because I'm thinking, okay, so she'd already been doing this for 2 years, meaning she started when she was 17, when she was like a junior in high school. Okay. Let's look at that. In the past 2 years, we have gone global with our Romanian Angels project and teamed up with the United States Marine Corps to joint sponsor an orphanage in Romania. And that's written by Erica herself. A piece of information quasi unknown to the simple folk of the collective West, but commonly known in Eastern Europe from Romania to Kosovo. As soon as a new U.S. NATO military base is settled, a web of black market special services and trafficking grows on it like weeds on fertilizer. The transporting includes child transporting for X. Many Romanians profit from it. Even more have protested it. U.S. obedient mainstream media couldn't put a lid on it. They've just underreported it to the minimum. Below you have excerpts from one of the main daily newspapers from the quality tire, no tabloid ramble. And so then it's got a photo of Joe Biden with Anna Marie Nuciu. And it says that she was a translator at the American military base in a city that I'm not even going to try to read the name of. We'll just call it COG. It starts with KOG, but it's like got 10 more letters. Military base in COG. Until recent years, everything seemed normal until Anna Marie discovered that this military unit belonging to NATO forces operated a real brothel, where underage girls came to satisfy the desires of some soldiers, especially the commander of the Black Sea Area Support Team base, Otto Buscher. And then there's a photo of Otto Buscher, and Otto Buscher was very, very tight with Erica. Very tight. She speaks highly of him. Allegedly helped by his right hand senior adjutant. I think that's probably supposed to be adjacent. Senior adjutant platoon Lloyd Sparks. So there's Lloyd Sparks, and then there's some guy with the black box over his face redacted that from his size and coloring looks like it could be Bill Clinton, because it shows his chin, so the shape of his chin. Oh, and there's someone else, a female that looks like a female, either that or somebody with that needs a man bra with a Harley Davidson t-shirt that's also redacted. Looks like a butch woman. With incredible tenacity and devastating courage, despite being directly threatened by an American soldier that he would run her over with a car. We have a recording of this conversation. Anna Marie notified the prosecutor's office about this brothel on the military base. There was an extensive investigation carried out by the American and Romanian authorities. However, invoking the agreement signed in 2001 between the two countries, in which Romania ceded the right of investigation of the American soldiers to the USA. That's scary. In a large series, we will present you extensively documents, photographs, audio, video, recordings, conversations, and photographs, some truly shocking, of underage girls recruited for Rick's pleasure. Now, however, we are publishing the criminal complaint that Anna Marie sent to DICOT, Anti-Mafia Prosecutor's Office. Interesting. I'm going to wrap it up here. But it's got the legal filing. So I'm going to read through it more and then hopefully come on live tomorrow, maybe around 5. No, I don't know what time tomorrow. Let me think for a second. Maybe around 3 tomorrow. Does that sound good? Will that work for you guys? We'll try 3 again since we tried 3 today and it worked. She went through hell. Sadly, Jazz, I agree with you about Virginia's husband was her handler. Yeah. But it's amazing that she survived as long as she did with the lawsuits against Jiz. Like, she didn't come forward, I don't think, until 2011. I don't think she ever spoke out legally until 2011. And then the lawsuit involving Prince Andrew, it is surprising that she didn't get Epstein or Princess Diana sooner, right? I mean, not to brush it off, but seriously, it's amazing that she lasted as long as she did. Again, whether that was self-inflicted or not. But I'm going to wrap up, you guys, because my light just went out, so I have to wrap it up. My chakra tower is falling apart. All right, here, let me just fix it temporarily as we are wrapping up. I can do that. Oh, I bet it would just turn back on too. Would it? No. These things, it's always something. And that's going to try to get away. Okay. Just wrapping it up anyway. But, you know, me and my OCD, everything has to be perfect. The chakra tower cannot be out of alignment. Good night. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you get some fresh air and sunshine. Drink your water, eat your protein and your veggies. And thank you kindly for being here. And if you haven't yet hit the like button, please hit it on the way out. And if you feel inclined to donate, there's the Cash App. And it's not in the description of today's video. I don't even think I put it in the description of yesterday's video, but it's in the description of all the rest of the videos and in the description of my channel. So I have PayPal, I have Venmo, and I have Buy Me a Coffee. In the event that you'd like to contribute, even $1 is just a very kind gesture and much appreciated. So love to you guys and see you soon. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.